On today's Exploring History podcast, we'll celebrate the story, the testimony, and the amazing 150-year history of the Fisk Jubilee Singers.
Welcome to Exploring History with Ray Knotgrass, a production of Knotgrass History.
The end of the Civil War brought freedom for formerly enslaved persons. But as is often the case after a major event, the next question was, now what? The newly freed men, women, and children had their freedom, but they had no jobs, no education, no money, and plenty of skeptics who wondered what they could accomplish. Near the end of the war, the federal government created the Freedmen's Bureau to provide formerly enslaved persons with immediate assistance in a few areas of life, such as medical care and housing. Several Christian missionary groups helped with the Bureau's efforts. General Clinton Fisk was part of the Union Army that occupied Nashville, Tennessee, beginning in 1862. Fisk and a few others expressed concern about how formerly enslaved persons might be able to get an education. General Fisk understood that an education could open many doors for the new citizens to use their talents, provide for themselves and their families, and help them contribute to American society. He used his influence to bring about the use of former Union Army barracks in Nashville as a place to educate African Americans. In January of 1866, the Fisk School opened its doors. Emancipated persons eager to learn quickly flooded the school. Enrollment grew from 200 in February to 900 in May. But the school was not yet a college. Fisk School taught the basics. It had to teach the basics because many of the students there who were eager to learn first had to learn how to read and write. In 1867, Tennessee passed a law that enabled free public education. This increased the demand for teachers. The need was especially great for African American teachers. Fisk School refocused its efforts on higher education and became Fisk University. One major goal was to train teachers. Fisk University got off to an impressive start, but funding was always an issue. By 1871, it was about to close its doors because of debt and a lack of operating funds. The treasurer of the university, George White, had appreciated the a cappella songs that students sang informally, songs which they had learned while living in slavery. White suggested forming a singing group that could travel around the country to offer concerts which could raise money for the school. The group conducted a tour of southern cities in the fall of 1871 and then toured northern cities the next year. The typical program offered traditional sacred songs and then an encore of what they called, and what modern musicologists call, Negro spirituals or slave songs, songs they had learned and sung while in slavery. Audiences received these songs so well that they became a larger and larger part of the group's program. At one point, when White was trying to come up with a name to call the group, he thought of the Old Testament Year of Jubilee, which marked the end of a period of enslavement in Israel, and so the group became known as the Fisk Jubilee Singers. The students' thoughts were not just on the school's needs, however. A concert in Cincinnati raised a total of $50, which the group donated to help victims of the recent Chicago fire. During their 1872 tour, the group sang at the White House at the invitation of President Ulysses S. Grant. In 1873, the Fisk Jubilee Singers embarked on a tour of England and Europe. The highlight of the tour in England was the opportunity to sing for Queen Victoria. Her Majesty commissioned a large portrait of the group as a gift to the university. The group returned to Nashville in May of 1874. The concert tours were a huge success. They raised over $50,000, which enabled the school to pay off its debts, purchase a campus, and build a beautiful new building which became known as Jubilee Hall and which is still in service at the thriving university today. The floor-to-ceiling portrait commissioned by Queen Victoria hangs today in Jubilee Hall. The Fisk Jubilee Singers are still singing spirituals and going strong over 150 years after the group was founded. They've sung in good times and hard times. Over the years, they have recorded several albums, have been nominated for 3 Grammys, and in 2021 received a Grammy for Best Roots Gospel Album. The group was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 2000, and in 2008, President George W. Bush awarded the Fisk Jubilee Singers the National Medal of Arts, the nation's highest honor for artists and patrons of the arts. In 1856, a few years before the Civil War, the city of Nashville passed an ordinance that made it illegal to educate African Americans, both enslaved and free. After the Civil War, many people were skeptical about the value of educating formerly enslaved persons and about what a singing group of formerly enslaved persons might have to offer. The Fisk Jubilee Singers not only helped provide the college with a sound financial basis, but they also introduced the Negro spiritual as a distinct musical form. They were a testimony for the value of educating formerly enslaved persons. They were and still are impressive ambassadors. Last year, celebrating their 150-year heritage, the singers presented a wonderful concert at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, which Charlene and I had the privilege of attending. This year, among the concerts they presented was a performance at Carnegie Hall in New York City. So much for the skeptics. I want to offer a special word of appreciation for the longtime director of the Fisk Jubilee Singers, Dr. Paul Kwame. Born in Ghana, West Africa, the son of a musician, he came to Fisk in 1983 and became one of the Jubilee Singers. He earned advanced degrees at other institutions and became director of the Fisk Jubilee Singers in 1994. Dr. Kwame always taught new singers the history and significance of the group. Charlene and I were able to meet Dr. Kwame and exchange a few emails with him, and we found him to be a kind, gentle, godly man. When the Fisk Jubilee Singers received their Grammy Award last year, Dr. Kwame began his remarks by saying, "I just want to thank God." After thanking all the people who helped with the album, Dr. Kwame ended with, "Thank you so much. Hallelujah." We and many others were deeply saddened when Dr. Kwame passed away in September of 2022 at the age of 70. The following recording from 1909 is a quartet of Fisk Jubilee Singers performing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. The quality of the recording is not great, but it has historical significance. The Library of Congress included this very recording as one of the first 50 selections that began the National Recording Registry.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But still to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Sing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
You can find the singer's story and some of their contemporary performances on the internet, which we are not able to share on this podcast because of copyright restrictions. Homeschool History has a video of them singing "Rise, Shine, for Thy Light is a-Comin'." You can find the link for that song in the notes for this podcast. And YouTube has other videos of their singing. PBS produced a documentary, Sacrifice and Glory, a few years ago. A feature documentary, Walk Together, Children, was made to honor their 150th anniversary in 2021. I believe you'll be blessed tremendously by watching. I'm Ray Notgrass. Thank you for exploring history and celebrating the Fisk Jubilee Singers with me today.
This has been Exploring History with Ray Notgrass, a production of Notgrass History. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast app, and please leave a rating and review so that we can reach more people with our episodes. If you want to learn about new homeschool resources and opportunities from Notgrass History, you can sign up for our email newsletter at exploringhistorypodcast.com. This program was produced by me, Titus Anderson. Thanks for listening.